I love this city. And it's just like the green areas around here. It's very calm. It's like nothing seems to bother you.
The city of Amsterdam strives to make itself a better place to live, work, and visit through investing in and conserving green spaces. Green spaces in cities are a multifunctional tool that improve the lives of those who use them. Amsterdam's goals and ambitions for developing their green spaces are outlined in the Amsterdam Green Agenda.
So that document sets out and it basically allocates funding for green spaces in Amsterdam for the 2015-2018 period. It allocates, I think, 20 million euros during this period for green spaces in the city. The reasoning and the logic behind it is really kind of multifunctional and integrated. The city is building 25,000 new dwellings by 2025. A lot of these dwellings are really very small, actually, so around 40 square meters. So the idea is that if people live in small spaces, the only way to keep the city accessible and livable is to have really good public spaces. Green spaces being the living room of the city. Green spaces are also very good for biodiversity, which is also something that comes in this green agenda. They're also very good for water management. They're also very good for cooling off the city during periods of no rain. They're very good for actually lowering noise pollution, for example, on tram tracks. The residents of Amsterdam are in contact with green spaces on a daily basis, more than once. So it talks about a policy where every resident should be within 20 minutes of a major green space. So we're talking about places like Westerpark or Amsterdamse Bos or Vondel Park, Flevo Park. But you should also have like green right when you exit the house into the street. You should also have green there. And you'll notice this is kind of micro-greenery in the city. Like you'll notice streets where every resident seems to have kind of made a big garden in front of their house. And I think the Green Fund funds up to 75% of these kinds of small-scale street greening projects. In this green agenda, it talks about pocket parks. So there's also these kinds of smaller green spaces. And green should just be kind of everywhere in the city, which I think is amazing because most cities have spent the last 30 or 40 years just getting rid of green spaces, right? So I think it's really nice to kind of mend that green fabric in the city. And the green fabric and the blue, they're so complementary. They offer such a nice benefit from a physical and psychological well-being. But it's not easy for cities to implement because the focus is so much more on asphalt typically, right?
Amsterdam itself switched its focus to developing better infrastructure for cars in the 1960s. The people of Amsterdam fought back for their bikes and the government listened. Much of the unwanted streets and parking lots could then be converted into versatile green spaces and parks, like Museumplein, that are safe for bikers and used by thousands of people every day. Amsterdam had a head start because it was historically a biking city and the government owns 80% of its land, making it easy to weave green into the city. Other cities can add to their green fabric with green roofs, walls, and other living architecture, but should also strive to streamline their infrastructure and make more room for green in the city. Whether the urbanite of the future rides their bike to work or takes a shared self-driving car, they should see more green and less asphalt in their city.
So there's all these different benefits to green spaces, and that's part of what this green agenda actually makes clear, right? It's not about the benefits of green spaces from one single reason, but really all these different reasons together.
The Green Agenda's focus on city parks, biodiversity, neighborhoods, and accessibility not only makes for better green spaces in Amsterdam, but also massively improves the quality of life of Amsterdam's locals and tourists, like Mary and Tony, a couple who have lived in Amsterdam for 65 years, using the green space on the Ringdijk as their front yard. Or these Italian tourists relaxing on Museumplein, taking a break from celebrating their friend's birthday. No matter who you are, the green spaces in Amsterdam will make your stay better and easier.
When you have, let's say, a 4-kilometer commute, which is similar to my commute, and I spend 2 kilometers of the 4 kilometers on a bicycle through Vondel Park, with no air pollution, with no noise pollution, with everyone else biking with a big smile on their face, I think that's something that doesn't happen in other cities. There are so many spots in the city where, by 5 or 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening on a sunny day, these green spaces get covered with people having picnics. And they don't have to get in a car, and in many cases they don't even have to get on a bicycle to get to these green spaces because they're right outside their door. And that's also very important in a city. You shouldn't just have the green space out there, 2 kilometers out of town, but it should really be integrated in the city. And I think that makes Amsterdam such a livable city. The green city is growing a lot because of all these different benefits to physical health, to psychological health, to community well-being, right, and environmental well-being. It's like green spaces are just this incredibly powerful tool for making a city more healthy and more resilient and more livable.